trying to get better, trying to, develop my artistry from the culture out here. And yeah, that's just where I'm at, just grinding.
Yeah, I'm GRIMM40, from Pittsburgh as well. We've been working together for years now. I'm a producer, engineer, bass player, whatever. Been making music all my life, and now I'm just moved out to Chicago just to develop my craft, and that's what I've been doing, just developing, making the most me shit I can make. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So, shit. One, didn't know you guys were from Pittsburgh. That's kind of crazy, no doubt. But shit, like for the people who don't know you guys are frequent collaborators. I found out about you, Dre, from Grimm type shit, and just hearing that both you guys are from Pittsburgh, I'm guessing there's a long history there. So, would you mind going in depth about how you guys met and how this relationship first started?
It's a long history.
Yeah.
We were in what I like to call like a Pittsburgh kids bop. You feel me? It was a bunch of like artists that came together like every day after school, and we would make music. And I was in the program for about like a year or two now. Mm-hmm. And the wheels were turning, shit was going crazy. And the bass player, he graduated out, and we needed a new bass player. Right. So I came to the program one day, and I just hear music going, and I'm like, damn, who's playing the bass? Right. I walk in there, and I just see this white nigga looking like John Lennon and shit playing the bass. Like, they're like, yo, who the fuck is that playing the bass? But like, I could see like how into it he was, like how like he was fucking with it, like he was really fucking with it. He loved that shit, And then after that, we became bandmates. We started a band called The Junction, became bandmates. And then after we migrated from that, it was just like, all right, well, you're making beats, I'm rapping, we might as well work together. You feel me? So we had the same vision, same idea where we wanted to be at coming out here. Yeah, and it just kind of worked out like that.
Yeah, we figured once quarantine hit, we were just stuck in the crib. We both just started kind of going crazy. Like, we got into, like, we would just meet up, and anytime we saw each other, we was recording. Like, anytime. Like, so then, like, we had a bunch of songs done, and that was, like, the first iteration of us, like, really working together, like, on our own shit. And, the music was cool, but it was terrible. You know what I'm saying? And so from there, we just been crafting our own art forms, and then bringing those together and crafting our art form together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So, what age were you guys when you met?
I was in like 10th grade.
Yeah, I was in 11th.
Yeah, so I was like
17. Maybe.
Yeah, 16, 17. Yeah. Yeah.
So years in it.
Yeah. It's been shit.
So
5 years now.
5?
Yeah.
Long ass time.
Swear.
So at 16, 17, 10th, 11th grade, you guys were making music. Has music always been like a part of like y'all life, or was it something that you got into like as you grew older?
I was always into music. I don't know when it started. It was just when I was growing up. One day I just started having a piano teacher, and then I went to this elementary school that was really centered around arts and the music. So like, man, I just started playing every instrument that I could. I would start playing one thing, either be bad at it or just get bored, switch on to the next, and then I just kept doing that till I found the bass. Did that for years, and then I got a laptop, and then got Ableton, and then just started going crazy, and yeah.
I'm a little different. I was a late bloomer when it comes to music. I didn't start making music and start like really writing and rapping, like for real until like 9th, 10th grade. I was in a group of friends at the time, and all of them were rappers and artists, and I was like the only one that didn't do that shit. Like, I just appreciated the art. I hooped. I was a hooper. Like, I just appreciated the art, you feel me? I was a weirdo, but like, I hooped. And one day, you know, we was downtown, and one of my friends just said to me, like, bro, like, why don't you rap or something? And I was like, nah, nigga, that ain't for me. You feel me? And he was like, bro, just go home, find a beat on YouTube or some shit, write something to it. Next time I see you, spit it. I was like, all right, I'll accept the challenge.
Right.
I went home, found a beat, wrote some shit. It was probably terrible looking back at it. I don't even remember that shit for real, for real. And when I seen him, he was like, you write some shit? I was like, yeah. And I spit it for him. He was like, bro, I'm not going to lie. That's way better than anybody's first ever shit. You feel me? Like, you went hard. Like, it's still ass, but, like, that's better than somebody's first ever shit. And that was, like, motivation right there for me to, like, go on with it. And then, like, my competitive spirit from, like, all the sports and shit was just, like, I got to be the best. So, like, if this is what I'm going to put my all into, then I got to, like, go after it.
Yeah,
you feel me?
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, it's been like that since.
Bro, so seeing how like you guys both got into music, like different types of ways, but then ended up coming together, like tell me about like some like the early influences that like you all both had when you first started making the music, and how that's kind of, you know, carried over, if any, into, you know, the music you make together now.
The first project that actually like inspired us to start collabing, it was Unlocked by Kidney Beats and Denzel Curry. That project right there, like how they experimented and how they just like put their heads together, and like they made that shit in a day. Like, you feel me? Like that whole project, and just put their heads together and went hard. And we were just so inspired by like how the production was, how his flows were, and we tried to like make our own version of that. Like that was like the quarantine times. You feel me? We tried to make our own version.
Birthday. It was your birthday that you had we were getting drunk partying, and then the morning, like we were just like out getting breakfast, having a conversation, and it was like, you know, hungover. This motherfucker just turned 21, like, or 20 or something.
21, something
like that. And it was just like, we just like had the mindset. We just had to go. You know, we had to work, and then we heard that Unlocked tape, and we just put our minds to it. You know, we just figured like, why not just go hard in this shit. Like,
and after that, it just started evolving into like different shit, like, you know, Mad Lib, MF.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I always
like,
been
those like iconic producer rapper duos. Like we just started
Kobe
looking
and
into that.
Yeah.
We were just like, all right, like, well, we gonna strive. Like, let's strive for it. You know, like I was told that if you're going to try to be the greatest at something, you have to like immerse yourself in the greats.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to make the greatest music in this category, you need to listen to the greatest people in that category.
Yeah.
You feel me? Yeah. So if we want to be considered like one of those duos like that, we need to immerse ourselves in duos like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, Dre, you're heavy on rap, right? But then Grimm, you know, I go through your SoundCloud, look at your production and stuff. It's not, you know, the typical rap beats, and you don't have a typical rap flow, Dre. So, kind of, how would you describe your, like, you guys' style of music or genre? What genre do you think you fall into?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
we're heavy Pittsburgh. Like,
yeah, Pittsburghers, like Pittsburgh as a city is just, weirdly, you find a lot of, like, it seems like the city of Pittsburgh takes a lot of influence. Like, it kind of, like, you'll see a lot of different things that, like, aspects that you see in New York or in Chicago or even in LA. Like, it's like, people really, like, a lot of people moved there during the Great Migration, so, like, a lot of music was brought in, and then, so, like, I feel like we kind of just because we were from there, and just because we were making music from there, and there's not that many musicians or artists that really came out, like, we can name, like, 3, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not really that many.
Name 3.
And, like, so we had to take our influences, wear them on our chest, for real. I feel like that's how Pittsburghers do it, and just make the shit that we want to make, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You know, you have your own sound. You know, I feel like, coming from a rapper's perspective as well, like, Pittsburgh rap is real, like, chill, laid back. It's real smooth, you feel me? Like,
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of, like, flowing on it. You're riding, you feel me?
Oh,
Like, you're cruising. Like,
yeah, I definitely get that vibe
So-
from you guys' music.
Swear. But I would say that, like, a lot of my production is rooted in, like, that boom bap sound, like that heavy sample production. But I take a lot of influence from a lot of different genres. Do a lot of, like, housey type of stuff. Do a lot of, like, you know, bouncier tracks. But then I think I don't like to stick myself into a genre. Really, I don't think that it. I think it only constrains me because I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just make the music that sounds like me.
yeah.
Maybe in 10 years, if I make enough of it, they'll be like, oh, yeah, that's a genre right there.
Right,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, that's
Definitely not limiting, you know, what we can do and, like, what we're working on. Like you say, he makes house shit. I'm a part of a band, Turtle Park. You know,
Right.
we make, like, rock and, like, alternative pop and hyper pop and shit.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
so, like, you know, just being an artist and not putting yourself in a box. Like, we try to stick to that.
Yeah. But there's a lot of sounds from, you know, the hip-hop genre, a lot of, like, the more, like, lo-fi, you could say, sound, and there's a lot of different aspects that I feel like you can hear in our music, but I don't think it sticks to one, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Dre, does having a producer who's, you know, diverse and, you know, can make multiple types of vibes, you know, with his music, how does having that affect you and, like, your rapping ability and, like, how you go at making your music?
I don't think it affects my rapping ability,
No.
but it definitely sometimes can be a challenge because, respectively, we're two separate artists,
Yeah.
and he goes into making his beats with the idea of what he wants to hear sometimes.
Mhm.
And lately, we've been, like, coming to, like, amends to the point where it's like, I'm not gonna give you what you want to hear all the time. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's, like, respectable, but I don't know. It's always a challenge, you know, especially, like, when we have a real vague and, like, crazy idea and, like, trying to, you know, please both parties and, like, make it a real collab. Like, even though I'm the predominant vocal you hear, I want it to feel as though, like, this is a GRIMM40 Drake Gordon collab. Like, just as much as I'm speaking, he's speaking through his production.
Mhm.
But yeah, you know, like, and then there's also been times where, like, we work together and it's just like, yo, here's beats, make
Yeah.
a song. Like, so, you know, it varies. But, and I'm also trying to get him to the point where it's like, you know, like, he understands he's more than a producer, he's an artist as well, and that some of his ideas aren't, you know, really meant for people to rap on. Like,
Yeah.
you can just drop it like that.
Yeah.
Like, and that shit would be fire.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's an evolution, you know. We're still figuring it out,
Bro.
but yeah.
So, what type of state were you guys in when you were recording "Smile You're on Camera"? Because, you know, 5-song EP, your most recent one, came
Yeah.
out early this year, January, and, you know, Grimm got 3 features on it. So, and tell me a little bit about that.
He just moved up to Chicago to start school at Columbia. I was still in Pittsburgh in my gap year.
Mhm.
And I was like, man, I want to drop some music before I go to Chicago. You know, like, that was, like, my whole mindset. Like, I want to go to Chicago with the EP. So people were like, who are you? And you're like, hey,
No,
this is
right.
who I am. You feel me? Like, here's an intro. So, yeah, he would just send me shit, and, like, I would just start writing immediately. Like, and, you know, there was a few things that got scrapped, a few things that never got used, a few things that he really wanted to have get used, and I didn't use it.
Sweet.
You know, I just had the mindset of, like, I want a heavy kind of trap sounding EP that, like, I feel like people in Chicago will enjoy, but at the same time, like, have heavy shades of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, your own
You know,
flow.
yeah. So, yeah, it just kind of was like, he was sending me shit. It was like, yo, this is the idea I think you have, you know, do your thing.
Yeah.
Heavy Stepper, he was there for the making of that. I think that was like the summer before us moving up here. You know,
Yeah.
like, he sent me the beat. Like, he just had like the sample, the I was like, oh my god, like I need that immediately. Like
that's definitely my personal favorite off the EP. So that's a hit.
Yeah, that's
yeah, that shit's crazy. You know, so he sent that shit over. I wrote that shit like 3 days immediately, and then I was like, all right, we gotta record it. And ironically, he won like a studio session at this new studio that was opening up in Pittsburgh. So we got the session for free, got the mix for free and everything. Yeah. So it just was one of those things that was like meant to be, even though we weren't like really together.
Right. So, Grimm, I want to ask you a couple questions, you know, about the shot tapes. You feel me? So, at first, my first impression was, oh, 2 guys from Chicago making music with other Chicago artists. Yeah. But now that I see, like, you know, that's not the case at all. You know,
No, not at all.
So, yeah, it kind of, shit. Speak to, like, how did you build those relationships with, you know, these people that you collabed with on the shot tapes?
Yeah, so, well, for one, the shot tapes, yeah, I know it sounds like we're from Chicago and all that. We're not from Chicago though. We ain't gonna claim that. But no, that was kind of us. Like, I'm currently in the works of making the second volume to that right now. But yeah, we wanted to you know, show that, because we came up here to work with Pittsburgh or Chicago artists. You know what I mean? So like we wanted to, you know, make a bunch of music with those people, with like get a new type of sound on what we have already been doing, you know what I mean? And yeah, so then we got Saint Dewey and Ty. They actually, I met Ty through the school like randomly one day, and then you know, I told him I was engineering, and they were like, shit, we got like 4 songs we got 4 songs left on this album to record. Like, you down to record it? And then we spent like the next like 2 weeks in the studio just recording that shit. And that was like the first time I really ever was like just like the engineer, you know what I mean? So like it was a cool experience for that. And then during that time I was making my music, so I was like, shit, we're in the studio every day, like we're almost done with y'all shit. You want to keep recording, you know? So we just kept recording, you know, just recorded out like little 3 songs real quick, and then I just figured I'd drop them, call it the shot tapes, because it's us in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? It's that period of our lives, you know? So yeah.
Who's some other artists that you guys would be willing to work with from around the city, or you got anybody on your radar so far?
Yeah. This dude, Dev. Yeah, bro, he's hard. I met him. I went to a little session with him a couple months ago, but yeah, I'm about to send him some shit, because I
need the feature.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him.
Gonna get Hugh.
Yeah.
He's a producer, crazy.
Yeah, Sonny Hugh. Yeah, he's a crazy producer.
Shout out my nigga Muda. Shout out my nigga Pierce.
Yeah, I swear. Yeah, we yeah, our homies Muda and Pierce, they rapper, vocalists, singers. Yeah, dude, we've been making a bunch of music with a bunch of people here, and it's real nice. And I wanna, I want to keep with the shot tapes as I'm here. You know what I mean, for the next however many years. I kind of want that to just each project get more people on. You know what I mean? Like really, like, you know, because I don't know the city that well. Like, I've been here a year and a half. I'm trying to be a part of the city, you know, live, you know, do as much as I can music-wise here. So, like, I want to keep expanding on who I'm working with, get, like, you know, do a bunch of shit with the city. But, yeah.
So, what can the people expect next from the both of you guys?
I got 2 projects in the works right now. I got one that's kind of just a bunch of different types of production from me, a lot of more of my electronic stuff, some D&B type of music, house music, and then I also got, like I said, the Shot Tapes Volume 2, which is going to be a really like boom bap sample based tape, and we gonna just try to get shit like a bunch of rappers. I really been liking how Griselda's been doing things recently. If that new West Side Tape 10, the way he just got his feature list was fucking immaculate, you know, and he was like, as a producer, he brought in all those people and you know, let them kind of go crazy on his songs, and then he'd have his vocals in there, you know, his verses and whatnot. But like, he really let the artists he brought in shine, which I really thought was cool. So that's what I want to do for this next Shot Tapes. Yeah.
Me? I mean, I'm working on, of course, getting my vocals into Grimm for this shit. You feel me?
Yeah,
that's first and foremost, because my boy's first on the schedule. Then after that, you know, I'm going to hit y'all with a few singles, and I'm working on my project right now too, getting that in the works, getting the ideas flowing for that. Because I feel like Smile Your Own Camera, it's about that time to give it a follow-up, you feel me?
Yeah.
So, yeah, big things coming, you know, visuals, you know, more things like this, collabing, working with people, reaching out to Chicago, man. We got to meet y'all niggas. We don't know y'all niggas.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
So, go ahead one more time. Let the people at home know who you guys are.
I'm GRIMM40.
I'm Drake Gordon. You watch the Disney Channel shit.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Look at dumb they look. Look at, swear to God, what's up? Look how dumb they look. How dumb you look. How dumb you look.
It's the return of the smoothest motherfucker. Been fucking up since a younger. Was sharing meals with my cousins. We up now, nigga. What's up now? Flying private jets. I'll let you know when I touch down. I gave her a few rounds and spoke on a few pounds. Reppin' my hometown when niggas get buck wild. Been boosting my status up. Now niggas mad as fuck. No one compared to us. Boy, you wasn't there with us. We putting out work. Came from the dirt. And now niggas hurt. Yeah, now niggas hurt. I hopped in my bag, nigga. Got off my ass, nigga. Now I'm buying shit. Don't even look at the tag, nigga. Don't make me laugh. You know you always in last. Smoke on the gas, shit with the gang on the ass. I'm closing the gap. You niggas need to relax. Welcome back to the main event. Welcome back. I've been the highest motherfucker. Got my head in the trees. Been the plug since a kid. Swear I got what you need.
Right? Shit, I'm vibing up. Damn, I forgot it was on release for a second.
Yeah, I've been doing. This is a bunch of shit I've been doing. This is kind of what we should be doing for the second Shot Tapes.
I was back here trying to catch the beat in my head.
We're in the middle of like recording these right now, so we're gonna try to do that. So he's
Hey, if you got space, you got an open verse for me, bro. I definitely want to hop on.
just saying, we need more niggas for the Shot
Oh,
Tapes.
God.
Yes,
South Island brand got it tatted on my body. Young nigga mobbing, chillin', plotting.
how to make a milli, put some dollars in my pocket. Mama say it's college, but I know I'm not a scholar. Still went to Kentucky though, figured I would try it out. I know where I wanna be in life, just trying to find a route to get me there that don't result in commissary visits through a glass wall. Wish I was a fortune teller.